Hey, how are you guys doing? Thanks for joining me. We're going to take a look at some VHS clamshells that are in my collection. So I'm going to go through some VHS tapes, and I've been separating and organizing. And kind of the first step is getting all of these, or at least for me, the first step is getting all of these clamshell ones out of the mix with the regular boxed ones and kind of organize them. So we're going to look at this collection. This is my collection and my two sons. And now these are all videotapes, VHS tapes that I acquired over the years in the 90s, early 2000s with my sons. We used to watch these over and over again, and I saved them all. And fortunately enough for me, both of my sons ended up being collectors. So this is the type of stuff that I like to pass on to my kids. And particularly my youngest son really collects old physical media, things like old video game consoles and also VHS tapes. So I'm looking forward to passing on to him for my grandchildren to watch because my youngest son has children, so this is perfect. Right now, my grandkids are 4 and 6 months. So they're really little, and this is prime time to start passing the VHS tapes to them. So we're going to take a look at the tapes that'll probably, most of these or some of these will probably be, everything will be in my collection is going to be passed on to my kids eventually, but that's what we're going to look at. These are tapes that have been in our collection for years, 20 or 30 years, and both myself and my sons watched them over and over. These were our favorite movies. This is a nice Columbia TriStar Family Collection, Indian in the Cupboard. I really enjoyed this movie, and so did my kids, especially my youngest son, Dylan. He liked this. This is The Aristocrats, or The Aristocats, excuse me, I'm sorry. The Aristocats. I liked this movie as a kid. I remember when it came out. The year that this came out, we went to Disneyland, and when you exited Disneyland late at night after the fireworks back then, they had souvenir stands, and they were selling stuffed toys of characters on the way out. And I really wanted, this guy or some of these kittens maybe. But everything was sold out except for Duchess, the white cat right here. But I still got her anyway. I think I was probably about 7 or 8 maybe. But I still asked my mom if I could get Duchess. So I had this Duchess stuffed large, and she's like about 16 inches tall. It was a great stuffed toy. I had it for years and years. Here's Home Alone. There's a classic. My kids liked this. We enjoyed watching this together. I like this. This is a fun movie. This movie has a cameo appearance by President Trump. I think we'll go like this, and then we'll stack on top of it. Here's The Iron Giant. Great movie. My kids love this. We watched it over and over again. Another fun movie that we watched that my kids loved. I liked this one. Jonathan Lipnicki in The Little Vampire. Fun movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. We haven't come to a bad movie yet. Mighty Joe Young. Now, this is a remake from a classic movie that I used to watch when I was a kid, like that would come on Saturday afternoons and stuff, black and white movie, great stop motion animation. But this is a remake with Charlize Theron, and is that Bill Pullman? And I actually liked this movie a lot. My kids did too. We watched it multiple times. It was a fun movie. Good one. This is one of our favorite Christmas movies. I always really liked this movie. I thought it was great. My kids, we liked it. We enjoyed this movie. Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Sinbad is funny in this. This and Phil Hartman. Look, see, this is a good movie, you guys. Wow, this is a fun one, isn't it? This Warner Home Video from about 1984. The Man with Two Brains. This is an original Warner Home Video release. This probably cost like $65 new when it first came out, or something like that, right, guys? Remember when VHS were very, very expensive? This is Pumpkinhead. Now, this actually was loaned to me by my cousin Kelly. I'm sorry, Kelly, I still have your copy of Pumpkinhead. So I'm just going to keep it. I'll hang on to this. I won't pass it on to my kids. And eventually, if I run into Kelly, I'll give him his copy of Pumpkinhead. But I do like, we're going to come to more of these. I do like old rental tapes like this, where you can see that they had taken the box and had put it into this clamshell, and then this was a rental of some sort. I like rentals. We're going to come to more of them. Here's Gremlins. Also, just a fun movie that, you know, I saw when it first came out. I think I was in the Army at the time and saw this at the, I think I saw this at the base theater at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas. But I would have I bought this specifically to show my kids. So I would buy these. A lot of these tapes came from record stores, places like Dimple Records, Amoeba Records, Goodwill, and most of these were $1. If you know, some of them, I don't think I bought any of these new, but I would pick them up if I would see a good movie that my kids hadn't seen yet, so that we could watch it together. Like this would have been the, you know, when I bought this tape and showed it to my kids, it would have been their first experience of watching the Gremlins. The same with the Goonies. I bought this tape, we watched it together, and I learned them about Goonies. And this has a really good painted box art. This is really cool poster art on this particular copy of the Goonies. Don't you guys like these? I like the clamshells. So this is one of the most played tapes in our collection, man. My kids used to watch Small Soldiers over and over and over again. This got a lot of play. This was on the TV a lot. Here's a really cool copy of Batman Beyond the movie that has some stickers that were put on here by one of my kids. Still, it's kind of a beat up copy. All right, let's move these back and let's get to the next stack. What's this? A slip of paper came off of one of them. See, I love this type. Look, wow, I wish we knew. Oh man, why did we? So this came off of one of those tapes that we were just looking at. I don't know which one it came off, but it has a date of 4/23/96 and a sale price of $26.99. And it flicked off of one of the ones we just looked at. I regret that I don't know where it came from, but we'll save it. We'll set it to the side. Okay, this is neat. This is one of these clamshell Marvel superhero cartoons from the 60s that was put into this clamshell series. It's the Incredible Hulk. It's number 5, When Monsters Meet. Looks nice. There's this art, excuse me, on the cover. It's a strange choice. It still looks good. I like this. So this particular one has a couple episodes of, I think it's got a couple episodes of the Hulk cartoon and then one episode of Spider-Man. And I think it's about a 60-minute tape. So now we're moving from those clamshells, these soft ones, to this rental hard case stuff that I was telling you about that I like to collect. So this is some hard case rental. I also used to buy tapes from Hollywood Video and Blockbuster Video in the 90s and early 2000s when they were going out of business and switching over and getting rid of all the VHS tapes. I guess they weren't going out of business yet, but they were switching over and getting rid of VHS tapes and switching to DVD, and I was buying these for $1 a piece. So this is the original good version of Hairspray by John Waters that has Divine in it, right? It was a rental of some sort. This is a fun movie. I don't know about that new one. I never made it. I don't think I even made it through that new one. See, this is the type of stuff I like. I like if a tape says, please rewind tape. Winchester Data Products. I like when it says where the tape came from, right? Don't you? I'm sure you do. Here's a rental of that Psycho remake with Vince Vaughn that I liked. I liked this movie. This is obviously a rental. I mean, look at how cool that is. Psycho is radical. So who was this? It was Vince Vaughn and Viggo Mortensen. What is her name? Is that Anne Heche was in here? I can't read. Yeah. I remember liking this. Maybe you did too. Here's another. Look at this strange hard. It's Special Editions Animal House. Isn't that great? I love this movie. So this would have been the first time I showed my kids Animal House. When I was learning them about movies. This is a really cool one. This is an original Empire Strikes Back from 1984. It's the original version down here. Look. And then they put it into this box to use it as a rental, I guess. Yeah, also this would have been the first time that, like, my oldest son, who loves Star Wars so much, he really loves Star Wars. Pretty sure this tape would have been the first time he ever saw Empire Strikes Back. So he'll definitely be receiving this. This goes to my oldest son. Look at this. Isn't this cool? It's a rental of Clerks. Here's an unusual one. This came from the Goodwill on Clement Street in San Francisco. Pretty cool, huh? It's an Ultraman tape that is in all Japanese. Ultraman World. Wow, that's cool. Peace Carry. Zig Fighter SS. I wonder how long this tape is. I don't know if I've ever watched this. I can't remember. Bondi. It's only 30 minutes. That's cool. Here's Remo Williams. I liked this movie. I thought it was good. I saw this also in an Army base theater. Now, I had a good friend of mine also at the same time that I was in the Army with, but it would have been a couple of years later. In about 1987 or 1988, I was hanging out with my friend Mike Wood, and Mike was one of those overachievers, man. This guy was really smart, really capable, and I mean, he climbed up the ranks quickly and was highly, I mean, he tore apart the Army education system. Anyway, Mike, I remember one time, I asked him, we were talking, I said, what's your favorite movie of all time? And this was his favorite movie of all time. And I said, yeah, I've seen it, man. And he said, you should come over, we'll watch it. And you got to, look at it closer. And we did. We went over and hung out at his house. And I remember, my wife and his wife and having dinner and everything. And he's like, all right, let's watch Remo Williams. We had drinks, we watched Remo Williams, and I mean, I liked it, but it just seemed the same to me. He got really something out of this movie. I'm not sure what he got out of it. Maybe I need to rewatch Remo Williams. This is a surfing VHS. This is a really cool, this is Mavericks from 2000. Let's look at this. Mav Surfer Films presents a Power Lines production. Oh, that's cool. Mavericks 2000. Year of the Dragon. So this is the compilation tape of the Mavericks competition from the year 2000 on VHS. It's probably pretty rare. Look at the size of that wave. So what is that? 35, 40 feet. See how tall he is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 5 times overhead, 6 times overhead. I don't even know. But that's probably, these are like 40-foot waves. This is going to be a fun tape. I haven't seen it in years. Here's something interesting. One day I was walking down the street in San Francisco and I found a box of VHS tapes, and they were from this Tai Sing Entertainment Company. I guess it was a VHS rental at one point, but all this stuff was like discarded and thrown away like by the trash. I only took one tape out of it because most of it looked like, soap opera type stuff. But this I could tell was going to be like a kung fu movie. I mean, look at that. Pretty sure I watched it. I remember watching this and I remember enjoying this and getting a kick out of it. But I haven't seen it since. Oh, this is fun. This is it was, I guess, a rental and then sold. Look at it. It says previewed 30-day guarantee. This is the Forrest Ackerman Famous Monsters of Filmland. Hooray for Horrorwood. This is a really fun VHS tape. This, if I remember right, this VHS has a pretty good tour of the inside of the Acker Mansion. Look, it's from Blockbuster. Blockbuster Video, Famous Monsters. 17 December 1997. Price. There's no price on it. Blockbuster. Hooray for Horrorwood. 75 minutes. You guys need to watch this if you're into all this and you haven't seen this particular documentary yet. It's called Famous Monsters of Filmland. Hooray for Horrorwood. It's a good one. All right, let's moving right along. Let's push this. We have one last stack to get through. We're at 17 minutes. This is kind of turning out time-wise to be right about how I wanted it to be. So let's move on to the last stack. The third stack begins with Star Trek. The collector's edition, the original series. It's kind of warped or something. I wonder if I can fix that. This is the beginning. This would have been the very first tape in this Star Trek Collector's Edition hardbox series. It's The Menagerie, Part 1 and Part 2. Bought these, same time period of everything else. This would have been the first time my kids watched Star Trek, the Enterprise Incident, and the Empath. Oh, this is a classic one, a piece of the action. Then we go on to Next Generation. Next Generation did the same thing. This has got the Naked Now on it. I think that's the episode. Is that the episode where everybody on the Enterprise loses their clothes? I liked this show. I was in the Army when it first came out. I was in the Army with a bunch of guys that liked Star Trek. It was popular amongst paratroopers. So when this new series came out in about, what was it, about like 1986 or 1987, something like that, everyone was talking about it the next morning, every single episode. And for the most part, everybody liked it. People were happy with how the show was going in that first season. A lot of geeks in the Army, or whatever you want to, dorks. Comic book guys, movie guys, science fiction guys, horror guys, music guys. Just people with big personalities and passions for cool stuff. The Pied Piper of Hamelin, family film. This is cool, isn't it? Look at this. Viking classics. Somebody was renting the Pied Piper of Hamelin at one point. And it ended up in my collection. Look at this, handwritten. Burbank Video. That's weird, isn't it? It was handwritten on there. We're almost done. 2 more videos. Stuart Little, I enjoyed this. My kids did too. I particularly enjoyed this book when I was a kid. I read the book when I was, well before this was a movie or a cartoon or anything. And it was a good book. Last VHS is A Family Clamshell, and it's a great movie. It's Mary Poppins. I saw this in the theater when I was little. What did they re-release this in about 1970 or 1971 or 72, something like that? Pretty sure I saw this in the movie theater when I was little, in the early 70s. But this is the VHS, probably from the 90s, that my kids watched, and I'll be passing it on because I want my grandkids to watch this stuff. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this stuff. We looked at what is this? A Nissan 280ZX. Isn't that nice? The T-top. We looked at some VHS tapes. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at this 3 stacks of VHS clamshells. And we're going to go through more. I probably have 3 more stacks of still more clamshells for us to look at. So maybe that'll be the next video. Hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching.